On the back, of course, we've got the 115 Johnson bomb here. Okay, and the reason I put an emphasis on bomb is these things were known to blow up. How you going, guys? Now, it's no secret at all that we've moved up to Lancelin, and along with that Lancelin comes a different kettle of I guess fish. Okay, and what I'm leading to is we're about to let the cat out the bag on a new purchase. Now up here we're chasing stuff more like your dewies, your baldies, your snapper, etc., rather than your estuarine species. And whilst the pink polycraft is probably the best boat I've ever owned, unfortunately we just can't afford to take it out too wide. I mean, it is a bit restricting. Now, the decision was made to buy a bigger polycraft. We're probably going to look into something like the 5 meter mark in poly. However, with purchasing the farm and so forth, funds have become a little tighter than usual. So what I needed was, I did need to buy, I guess what you'd call a boat that's just going to get me through. So off we went, and I managed to find something that I thought was a bargain. And it did turn out to be a bargain. So we're still looking in the 5 to 6 meter mark. Okay, it was important that it had some horsepower to get it going. But everything was in the $25,000 mark, okay, even for something old. But what we came across was this boat that I'm about to show you. We ended up paying 11 grand for it, so it was an absolute steal. It absolute flies. It's got full service history. However, we're going to show you something that you must always check as soon as you purchase a boat. But let's introduce you to the boat, and also everyone's favorite, one of everyone's favorite farmers, Scott from
Acreage Living.
Acreage Living. Now, before we go any further, guys, make sure you write down Acreage Living, get over there, hit the subscribe button and help him out, because as part of On Point Adventures in the past, Scott's content is still very much going to be helpful farm-based sort of stuff, and of course some fishing thrown in there. But anyway, let's get to the part I want to get to, which is the 560 Quinny Classic. Now, as I said, we picked this up for a bit of a steal. Everything else in this sort of thing was around the 20 to 25 mark, no matter how snotty it was, and we managed to save a whole heap of money. On the back, of course, we've got the 115 Johnson bomb here. Okay, and the reason I put an emphasis on bomb is these things were known to blow up. Now, luckily, all the things that used to go wrong with these have been already been replaced with receipts. So she runs like an absolute dream, and this boat, flat stick, we topped her out at just over 33 knots. Now, 33 knots for a 5.6 meter boat is absolutely hooking. It's got the biggest piece of snot as a fish finder I've ever seen, which is a Lowrance Elite 7. Guys, all you Lowrance fans, I don't care what you think, they're shit. Go buy Garmin or go buy Humminbird. But we're gonna get to the point that we need to all look at. And there's a reason why Scott looks a lot deeper in this boat than usual. I'm gonna switch it around onto him and show you what I mean. So, what do we got here, Scott?
So obviously we've pulled up the floor to just inspect the hull, because when you go out fishing you drop your hooks, you drop your swivels, and when they hit the ground and they're left unattended, they will corrode the hull. So when purchasing a boat, you obviously always want to pull up the deck, or if you can, and obviously inspect it. What we've got over here as well, which luckily enough this isn't too bad, but that's all corrosion there on my finger, and that's in a couple of different spots on this hull, but luckily enough this hull's pretty clean. There's also colours on the washdown. There's another couple that's obviously stuck in a couple of areas that we'd have to get some pliers onto, but it's just about inspecting your hull, making sure it's all clean, and then you know you're not going to have any issues when taking it out deep. So I'm sure Brennan can probably take it over from here anyway, but it's always nice just to have a nice clean hull, and you know what you're taking out as well.
Hey, that's exactly right. So I guess the tip is, the first thing you should do is rip this deck up. Now, why did I really prompt to rip this deck up. Well, we did take it out for its first run and we took on about 40 litres. Turns out the bloke before me decided to only put 2 screws into each of the bungs. Now it's got 2 big bungs at the back. I'll quickly show you actually what he did so you quickly understand what I'm talking about. Let's come down to the bungs here. Now as you can see with the bung, we got two rivets, sorry, and nothing there. Exactly the same on that side. And guys, that's an absolute recipe for disaster. You can have a look at all the positive flotation down here and you can see underneath all this. Now that there, foam only melts like that when it's hit something bad. And I would say we've had a bit of a fuel leak in this boat. Maybe someone's, I don't know, filled up the boat with the rod holders. I don't know, I hear myths of this, but it could be what happened. But what's actually happened is underneath the fuel tank, something's underneath there because it's caused a little tiny corrosion hole underneath it and it's absolutely squirting water. So I have got this going to the local welder tomorrow night, which is why what we're doing is we've just pulled everything up, we're washing it out, we're getting it done. But I mean, check out the condition of that water, guys. It's absolutely filthy, okay? And that's not just filth with dirt, there's that much salt in that water. It's absolutely ridiculous. And which is why, exactly as Scott was just saying, rip the deck out, check it out, because corrosion is not your friend with aluminium boats. Now, Scott is much more savvy with buying boats than I am. Scott, for what we picked this up, would you still say it was worth it?
Bargain. Absolute bargain.
It was almost expected for the price we picked it up. We were going to find a couple of gremlins. However,
these aren't gremlins.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no. With just a tiny pinhole and someone being slack on the bungs, it's really not that bad. As I said, we took this, we did 32 mile in it on its first trip out. Took on about 40 litres, as I said. But if the only thing that went wrong was that, I'm actually pretty pleased with this boat. And as I said, the best thing about this boat is it was cheap, because I needed something cheap just to get me through until I get the coin together to buy the new polycraft. And contrary to everyone's belief of us always being sponsored by polycraft, it's simply not the case. We've always paid for it. Otherwise, I'd have a brand new 5 meter right here, right now. But guys, I'm going to leave you with that. That little tip about, you know, pulling up the deck, because I know it's something that not many people do, yet it could be something that just saves the day in the terms of keeping that boat floating.
But also filling your boat up with water as well when you got it at home will obviously show you if there's any leaks in your hull as well. So
that's right.
And then just get out the Textra market and then give it to your local welder.
I think also like a good soapy componentry to your water. I know there's one I think called Salty Captain, I think they call it. But it's like I guess a soapy foam that goes through them. But what that helps is, because we can't hot wash these boats, it does help the fresh water really break that salt down, which is why we wash stuff, guys. Anyway, look, as you can see by the shadows and so forth, the sun is going down and it is still getting cold up here. So we're going to let you go. We're going to get back to cleaning this boat out, but I will do an absolute full rundown of this boat from start to finish, including water tests, etc, 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 further on in the piece. But as I said, this boat, I didn't buy this boat to sort of be a channel feature at all. It's literally just going to be to nab some demersals, tuna and max. Right, guys, I'll talk to you on the next one. As I said, don't forget, jump over to Acreage Living, hit the subscribe button and the bell over there, because he's going to bring out, well, he is bringing out fantastic content. And whilst you're there, go have a look at Cameron's channel too, The Salty Farmer, although we call him the Salty Seaman because he does love getting in the salt water, and plus it's a funny name. I know you laughed. And give him a subscribe and like too, guys. It really does help. All right, guys, till the next episode, we'll catch you later and we'll get back to hosing the tub out.
See you later.
Catch ya.
Hosing you, hurrah.